There are almost 100 brawlers in Brawl Stars, and yet there are 36 mythic brawlers. And it got me thinking, do these mythic brawlers really deserve to be mythics, and should other brawlers go up and down in rarity? In this video, I'll be ranking these brawlers based on 3 categories: abilities, difficulty as a new player, and also their coolness, because why not? Okay, as you can see here, I've got a tier list. So we've got rares, super rares, epic, mythics, and then ultras and legendaries. I don't know how to add another table, but we ignore that. So let's start with Shelly. Shelly is probably obviously going to go in the rare. Same with Colt and Bull. And in particular, I think these 3 should be starter brawlers. If anything, when you join the game, you should have an option between Shelly, the shotgun brawler, Colt, the long range damage dealer, and Bull, the tank. I think this would be really cool and something really new, especially now that there are almost 100 brawlers.
Quick thing before we start the video, this video took me a very long time to make and I really hope you enjoy it. If you do, please consider liking and subscribing, as it will really help me grow the small channel. If you don't, then consider leaving it on in the background to help me get some watch time. Sorry for the list, but it does normally happen. Video quality corrupted a little, so sorry, and I'll be doing more streams, videos and shorts in the coming year. Thank you, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the video.
With Brock, he's very basic. His super is a bit different with the raining rockets, but he is quite a basic brawler and he's not very difficult to master. Barley is probably also going in a rare. He's not exactly difficult to master and his main ability is very similar to his super. Nita, on the other hand, her main attack is basic, but she does have Bruce as a super, and I think this would really help with people starting out on Brawl Stars. El Primo is also a rare. Poco, probably a rare. Rosa, also a rare with the shield. El Primo with the flying, and Poco is a good support brawler, and it's really important to learn about support brawlers early on. Now with all the rares still at rare, I'll be honest, the only one that I think could go up is Nita, only because of the summon. But now on to super rares. So Rico, he's the first super rare, and do I think he should stay in super rare? Yeah, I think so. With the bouncing bullets, you really want to know how to aim with them, and he's not easy to master, especially with his low health, so I think super is fair. Jessie, in a way, is similar to Nita. Obviously her shots bounce between 3 enemies as you have the turret, but in a way that makes it easier to play, so I think she could get dropped down to a rare. Dynamite is very similar to Barley, where his main attack and super are basically the same thing, but just deal more damage and have a bigger area. Now with Daryl, he is quite different. With his main attack is like Shelly / Bull attack, but just 2 rounds, and his super allows him to dash around. Really helps with his mobility, so he could also be a rare. Penny, similar to Jessie, could be a rare. Tick, absolute pain. I think we should soft lock him into super rare. I do not want to be facing ticks, especially at early days. Carl, I think I'm going to put him as a super rare. His attack is very unique and it's very different to all of these brawlers so far. With his throwable pickaxe and you needing to wait for it to return, that can be very difficult to master. And his super helps him with mobility, but the main attack is probably the most difficult thing for him. For a similar reason, I'm going to put 8-bit in super rare. He is so slow, and I think as someone starting the game, you really don't want to start with a slow brawler. So I think super rare is good because yes, he's difficult, especially when you've not powered him up, but once you get more adjusted to the game, 8-bit is a really good brawler, you realize. Jackie, well, she's literally just auto aim. And Gus, for the final brawler in the super rare, I think super rare is going to be fair enough for him. His main attack, obviously after 3 or 4, I can't remember how many, he drops his little spirit, and his super allows him to be a support brawler. Very similar to Poco, but just a little better, to be honest. And with that done, we have no legendary, mythics, epics, so everything right now is super rare or rare. And so far, I think I've done pretty well, but let me know how I do in the comments. Now starting with epics, starting off with Bo, he's definitely an epic. His main attack has those 2 different ways of shooting. You can do it in a spread way, or you can do it in a linear way. And his bow mines, you need to know how to place them well in order to use them effectively. So I think epic is good. Piper also deserves to be an epic. Her main attack scales with distance. Her super allows her to jump away from enemy brawlers. And because of her low health, you need to master her in order to do really well with her. Pam is gonna go in super rare actually. Her main attack, well, is different, but it's not really good. And her super is just a healing station to heal allies, so she's like a basic support brawler in a way, because you have to stay in that one spot. Frank, I'm definitely going to leave as an epic, which might be surprising given how difficult he is to play. His main attack obviously stops, so you can't move when you're attacking, and his super, same, you can't move, but it stuns brawlers, so it's really hard to master. So in that sense, he could be a super rare, but I'm going to leave as an epic because he's very difficult to master. BB, I'm going to put as a super rare, which might be a bit controversial. Her main attack obviously does a knockback, and the super throws that spitball, but that's about it. There's not really much to her, and she's not been very good recently. B, I'm also going to leave as an epic. With her main attack changing between the basic attack and then the super damage attack, and the super slowing down brawler, she's very viable in most game modes, and she can be quite hard to master. Ems, hang on, Ems is an epic? I forgot about this. To be honest, Ems I'm not really sure between epic and super rare. Her main attack obviously has a scaling effect, and her super is just one big circle around her that damages enemies, and she's not exactly difficult to master. She's annoying to play against, but not difficult to master. So I guess we're on to coolness. How cool is Ems? She's not cool, she's going to super rare. Gale on the other hand, he is quite cool for an old guy, and his main attack and super, although they're similar, they are quite... Gale on the other hand is cool, but I'm going to put him as a super rare. His main attack and super look the same, kind of are the same, and his super just allows him to get away from assassins. On to Nanny. Now this is going to be interesting, but I'm going to put Nanny as a mythic. Her main attack splitting off in the 3 ways, going out, then in, then the back out, and then a super being the peep and being hard to control. She's very difficult to master, but she pays off so well. She's one of my favourite marksman brawlers. Colette, I'm going to leave as an epic. I think it's fair given how difficult she is to play, especially given her damage scales on the enemy's health, and her super can be quite hard to master, especially without the star powers. I think epic's fair enough for her. Edgar, I'm going to leave as a super rare. He could even be a rare just because he's basically like an El Primo, but then I don't really want to face Edgar all the time. The only reason why we face him is just because he was free, and I guess only kids play him basically. On to Stu, I'm going to leave him as an epic. His main attack is simple, quite damaging, and then his super being able to dash around I think is really cool, and can be hard to master, especially with the infinite dashes, so I think epic's fair. Belle, I'm also going to leave as an epic. Her main attack, similar to a Jessie in a way, bouncing around when it hits a brawler, and it can be really hard to get the best use of her super. So I think she deserves to be an epic, especially with the bouncing gadget. That's really hard to master. Grom, I'm going to leave... I'm going to leave him as a super actually. His main attack and super are very simple. In fact, no, I changed my mind. Grom I'm going to leave as an epic, and unlike other throwers, his attack, you need to be really precise about it. Now obviously you can throw it on top of a brawler and it deals damage, but if they're moving away, and because Grom's attack is so slow, you need to be able to line up on the horizontal and vertical, and his super helps with that. Obviously that's what supers are for, but it can also be really hard to hit. Griff, I'm going to leave an epic. I'm definitely not trying to please other YouTubers out there, but Griff, he is quite hard to master. He is quite cool, and his attacks are quite interesting. He's got the 3 bursts of coins as his main attack. His super fanning out, dealing lots of damage, especially in game modes like Heist. I think he deserves to be an epic. Ash, I think Ash deserves to be an epic. He's quite hard to master because of his 3 phases, like 3 angry phases. His attack can be quite hard when you're slow and not enraged, and his super deploys all those annoying little trash garbage can things. Epic he is. Lola I'm also going to put as an epic. Her main attack can be simple, it's like a Pam, but then her super can be really hard to use. I don't think I've even got it locked down. I think epic's fair enough for her. Bonnie's interesting. When I first thought about this, I really thought Bonnie should be an ultra, just because she can change between the 2 forms, between like her in a normal state and her in a cannon state. Then I thought again, yes, she can do that, but then she's not brilliant at it, unlike Kaze. So I think it's between Mythic and Epic, and I'm not sure which one. And I think when I'm unsure about where a brawler should go, they should stay in where they are. So for now, Bonnie's an Epic, but if I change my mind, she'll go into Mythic, I think. Okay, next we've got Sam. Sam is definitely an Epic. His main attack between the knuckles and knuckles off, that can be quite hard to master. With his super, being able to put them all together, that makes quite a tough brawler to learn. And in general, I'm not seeing him in the meta much, so he must be difficult to play. And his abilities, they're not really helping him, but they are difficult to master. Okay, now we've got Mandy. Mandy's definitely an Epic. I think for similar reasons to Pipe and B, she's very versatile. She's very difficult to play as well, because to get the best out of her, you need to stand still. And standing still is harder than you think in Brawl Stars, especially when you've got so many long range brawlers now, trying to snipe you from so far. And the super, if you can get off double and triple kills with a super, then you've mastered Mandy, full stop. She's really difficult to master otherwise. On to Maisie. I think Maisie deserves to be an Epic. Her main attack does a scaling speed thing, which to be honest I don't really get, but then Brawl Stars are running out of ideas obviously. Her super allows her to push away assassins when they get close. And you know what? In that way, I think she could be a Mythic. Similar to how Nani has such different abilities for her main and super, I think Maisie's got the same thing, except they're probably harder, especially with the main attack. So I think Mythic might be deserving for her. Frank? No. Hank? I'm going to put as an Epic. His balloon attack is quite hard to master, and then his super... In fact, you know what? He's going to Mythic. Similar to reasons for all three, they're very hard to master. They're not cool enough for legendary, but they're very hard to master between the main and supers. Okay, next we got Pearl. Pearl might go in a super rare. Whoops. Nope. In fact, Pearl could be a super rare, but just because of the heat ability she has, I'm going to put her as an Epic, but she's basically borderline super rare Epic. Okay, Larry and Lori was another one where I thought they could be ultra just because there's two of them, but I'm going to leave as a Mythic actually. Their attacks can be quite hard to deal damage. I know they burst twice, which is annoying, and then the super, you don't really have control over it, so you're kind of trusting the Lori, or is it the Larry? Either way, Mythic's fair. Okay, Angelo, I'm going to also put as a Mythic. His main attack is, so far, it's the most unique one here, having to hold it down to deal the maximum damage, and then his super being like that weird circle thing, poison / healing, or is that his hypercharge? I'm not really sure. He's very hard to master though, I know that for sure. Okay, next we got Berry. Berry, I'm going to leave as an Epic. I think that's fair enough for him. He's a good support brawler overall, but I don't know if he definitely shouldn't go up. Whether he could go down though is another question. To be honest, I think Berry could be a super rare. He is very good for a support brawler and very good as a thrower, but then he's not difficult to master. He is very versatile and the pros use him a lot, but then I don't really know why he's so good. I guess it's just the fact that his attack lasts so long on the ground, but I'm torn between Epic and super rare just because I don't think he's as good as these ones. But I think, like I said before, I'm going to leave Berry as an Epic, just like I left Bonnie as an Epic. Okay, next we have Shade. Shade, I think, hear me out. Shade is very, very good, but on specific maps, he's not hard to master as you can hit through walls. His super allows you to travel through walls, and he's just very fun, which is why I think beginner players should have access to it, because it's just really fun to play with. So I think super rare's fair, because you get the abilities which aren't rare. He's definitely not rare, that would be far too early and far too difficult as a rare, but I think super rare is a good fit for him. Next we got Meeple. I think Meeple's an Epic, borderline Mythic. His homing ability, in a way, could be a super rare because it's helping you attack, but then his super, needing to know where to place it in order to get the maximum damage through walls, I think that's Epic. And it's a very unique ability. We've had nothing like this. It's like a Piper gadget, and then he's almost like a thrower as well at the same time. It's very cool. Okay, and the last Epic, we have Trunk. Now Trunk is currently an Epic, but I don't think he's very good. Yeah, he can dash around, but that's about it. So I'm going to put him as a super rare. He's almost like a Derek. Right, they even look similar. Or is that just me? I don't know, but I'm going to leave him as a super rare. I don't think epic. I don't think he deserves epic. Now we're on to the mythics. Mortis I'm going to have to leave as a mythic. Just nostalgia, you know. I don't think I'm going to do the same for Tara and Jean. These are like the first 3 mythics in the game. And they all have very unique abilities. And they're all very cool actually. So I think they all deserve to stay as mythic. Mr. P, I think could go as an epic, but I'm going to leave him as a... Oopsies, not on that high. Jesus, glitch now. I'm going to leave him as a mythic. I think that's fair for him. His attacks can be quite difficult to master, but overall, he's not a bad brawler, not very meta anymore. His porters are a pain, so I think mythic's probably fair for him. Okay, Max. Max is actually a very underrated brawler, although the pros are using her a lot more now, but she's very good and very good support brawler with all the speed and the supercharging as a hyper. And now we've got my boy Sprout. Okay, he's going straight to legendary, and that's all that's going to be said. Okay, jokes aside, I think he's still a mythic. There is an argument for epic, but then he's so difficult to master his main attack, especially when they're up to your feet. And his walls and, well, his hypercharge is rubbish. So I think he's difficult enough to be a mythic. He can be fun to play, but I don't think he's an epic, and he's definitely not higher. Okay, next we got Lou. Lou's a mythic, definitely. His freeze ability, well, just his freeze ability alone is just so unique, and I think it's mythic worthy. Okay, next we got Byron. Byron's quite hard to master actually. Because of his low damage output, and also him needing to be a support brawler like all the time, he can't really attack brawlers. You need to learn that control. Instead of being aggressive, you need to be more passive and controlling the map. Okay, next we got Ruffs, but I'm going to leave him as an epic. His bouncing shots like a Rico, and then his supportingness, which is very unique. Very cool. I need a lot of practice to master it. Okay, I was going to put Squeak as a mythic, but then I'm trying to be fair, and I've already recorded for like 20 minutes and I've already forgotten how I'm ranking them. Obviously, I've got the abilities, the coolness, and the difficulty. But then I feel like his attack and super are the same. They're not terribly difficult to hit. So I think he could be an epic, and I think it's annoying to play against. He's very good. But I think epic's probably fair, so I'm going to leave him there. Buzz and Fang, definitely mythics for the difference in their supers alone, being able to jump, being able to hook around and then fly around, yeah. Next we got Eve. Okay, Eve I don't even know, I'm going to leave her as an epic. I haven't seen her being played for years, like I totally forgot she existed. Is that the same for anyone else? Anyway, her main attack is basic. Her super is just spawning. She's basically like a fake Mr. P, but just arguably worse. Can be good, but I think she's just not good anymore, so I'm gonna leave it there. Janet is a mythic, although she could be a legendary, and she could even be an ultra legendary being flying around. But I think mythic's fair. In a way, I think the difficulty in her is holding your attack down for long enough to get that extra distance, and being able to use a super effectively to fly around but also hit enemies on the ground. Okay, next we've got Otis. Hang on, I thought Otis was an epic. Was he a mythic? I don't know, but him being able to stun, I think that's probably mythic worthy. Okay, next we got Gray. Now he's going to be the first legendary brawler, not ultra. For now, he's just legendary. And for the portals alone, like that stuff is so cool. And I think because how much he's used and how cool he is, I think legendary is fair for him. Yeah, he's getting the promotion. Okay, next we got Buster. I think Buster stays a mythic, I think. His main attack is quite unique actually. I don't think any other brawler has a similar one. And his super, being able to reflect bullets, is really cool. Okay, next we got RT. RT, I'm going to have to put as an epic. Yes, his main attack's long, shoots fast, and he does that little siren thing, which is like a mini bell thing, which lets you deal more damage. But his super is just so scenario based, because you go out of your best form to go in a faster but short range form, and I don't really know where else you'd use it other than heist or Brawl Ball if they're all at your goal. So I'm going to put him as an epic. I just don't think he's that good. Okay, next we got Willow. Willow's definitely a mythic for the mind controlling abilities. Okay, Doug. Right. This one's interesting. He's like a Jackie, but because of his super, I'm going to put him as an epic. Yes, his super is really cool because you can revive. But he sucks. He's just so bad now. Okay, next we got Chuck. Yeah, Chuck's a mythic. Okay, next we got Charlie. Charlie, yeah, I think Charlie's a mythic. She's like a better Carl. And then her cocoon super, like that makes her really strong. Quite difficult to master, and it's quite cool to be fair. Okay, next we got Miko, which is basically like Edgar, so he's going in super rare. Next we got Melody. I haven't played her much, so for that reason, I'm just going to leave her as a mythic, but I also feel like she should be an epic. I'm not sure. Okay, next we got Lily. She's a crazy assassin. Okay, I'm going to put her legendary, because as an assassin, she's really good. And a super being able to just dash in front of an enemy and surprise them, and her gadget being able to go in Shadow Realm, I think that deserves legendary status. Could be a mythic, I'm not too sure to be fair, but I want to try and be as fair as possible. Like going into another realm, that's really cool. I mean, can you go in another realm? Okay, next we got Clancy. Okay, Clancy, yeah, he's going in super rare. He could be an epic, but he's just not good. I think I played one of them this year, and I don't even think I've touched him this year. I have him unlocked, and I think I pushed him to 100 trophies, and that's about it. That was in one sitting. I'm not touching this brawler until I have to. Okay, Mo is definitely a mythic. Being able to burrow around in the super is like, it's really cool first of all, and yeah, Mo's just a really good brawler. Okay, Juju, I'm gonna put as an epic. Yeah, she's really cool, can walk over water. In fact, Juju, I'm going to put as a mythic. She's probably one of the best throwers currently in the meta. Being able to use her 3 different abilities in the different biomes. Being able to walk over water. She can even go invisible. Like, super broken thrower. I can tell why the pros use her. Next we got Ollie. Ollie's a really good tank. And with the hypnotizing thing, that's just really cool. Quite frankly, broken. Okay, next we got Lumi. Lumi is like a Carl but with control, and her super also does a similar hypnotizing thing, except they can still attack, and it's what makes me really annoyed about her, because she's not broken enough. Next we got Finks. You know, when I first saw him, I thought he was a legendary. I thought he was really cool, and I think he deserves to be a legendary if he's not already, but he deserves to be a legendary. His main attack, already very unique, and his super being able to slow down missiles, like that's just brilliant. That is incredible brawler design. Like I don't think we've had that for a few years, but that is brilliant, and that's legendary deserving. Next we got Jae Young, probably the best support brawler right now, so Mythic's a good fair one for him. He's not easy to master, especially because his healing state does more damage than his speed state for some reason, if we're not including his damage state. And also his super being able to master, like switching between the different states, that's really cool and really difficult. Next we got Ali. Ali's like a mortis. Ali is a mortis, so I think she deserves to be a mythic. Next we got Mina. Mina's just broken, yeah. And finally we have Ziggy. Yeah, Ziggy can go in like rare. Like he's just terrible. But just to be fair, I'm gonna put him as a super rare because his main attack is really hard, but his super is very good at control actually. That's what I've noticed. Super rare or an epic? I'm gonna leave it super rare. Okay, we're in the final stretch. We've got all these brawlers left. I think there's 12 of them. 13 including Kaze. We're not including Buzz. Spike, yeah. Crow, Leon. Now, they're all definitely going to legendary. Like, they could go lower into mythic, but for nostalgia region, oh my god, nostalgic reasons, I'm gonna leave them all as legendary. Okay, next we got Sandy. Yeah, Sandy's super being able to turn all teammates invis, I think that deserves legendary. Now we got Surge. Yeah, Surge, if any of you remember, when he was released, he was so broken. I actually loved playing him. I actually got the Brawl Pass for that season. First time being a dirty gemmer. Okay, next we got Amber. Now this is where things get interesting. Amber's attack is unique, and the super being able to burn grass is, well, we haven't really had that before. And she's not amazing, but she can do a lot of damage since her buff. So she's legendary, but on the border. Okay, next we got Meg, and this is going to be the first ultra legendary. If we can, yeah, there we go. She's going to be the first ultra legendary because obviously she has her 2 forms, and well, obviously her mech form is her best form, but her little form is pretty good as well. It's not terrible. Bonnie's like 2 forms, they're both average, or average below average, but Meg's both forms are like good and brilliant, so she's definitely going in ultra. Chester is also going to be in ultra because obviously he's got the 5 supers and his main attack does a 1, 2, 3, 4 Chester Pells. Like, he's definitely deserving of ultra. Okay, next we got Cord. Yep, Cord is going as a legendary. Same reason as why Lily was legendary, being able to go another Relum. He's not easy to master, especially with his small range, but he's so powerful. Okay, next we got Kit. Now Kit is definitely going as a legendary, but he's borderline ultra because he can be a support brawler as well, and he's a really good assassin. And for that reason, I'm gonna put him as a 3rd ultra legendary, which might be a terrible idea from me, but I don't know, I'm losing my mind. Okay, next we got Draco. Draco, he is the definition of ultra legendary. He was an ultra legendary before ultra legendary Karte existed. He definitely deserves to be there. Next we got Kenji. Where did I put him? Oh, there he is. Put him back. Okay, Kenji's an interesting one. He's like half Mortis, half BB attack, and then like half Crow, if you get what I'm saying, with the super. He's so like out there different that he kind of just suits the legendary role. Also, it's just really cool. Finally we have Kaze, and she's obviously an ultra legendary. We're ignoring Buzz. So here's my final ranking of how all 97 brawlers currently in the game should be ranked, with these 5 being the ultra legendaries, and then from Frey onwards being legendary, and everyone else is here. Somehow Mythic is still overpopulated with brawlers, but I've also managed to spread it across super rare and rare, which I think is a big problem currently in the game, because they're sitting on like 8 rare brawlers, like 12 super rares, and then like everything else is stacked on top, which doesn't really make sense to me. I almost feel like rares and super rares should have more than everything else above, but then there's also greedy sell trying to make you buy the Brawl Pass for more credits. But I think this is probably the best ranking if they did have to change it, and also to diversify the amount of mythics. I could probably move these more, but I also don't want to try and offend anyone or make some really silly decisions. So I think this is how I'm going to finally leave it. Bonnie could be an ultra legendary, but let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know if you change any of these, and tell me if I did a good job. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Like and subscribe, and check out my other content because it's way better and way funnier than this.